Hey there, it's Sheryl, mental toughness coach, published author, speaker, and mother to a couple of great kids who happen to be high school and now college Division I student athletes. Today we're going to talk about a DIY, and it's titled Sequencing and How Teens Can Accelerate Progress. Teens seem to love videos, whether it's taking videos of themselves or it's watching YouTube or videos on Snapchat. Videos seem to be the thing that really interests teens. Sequencing is a way that teens can take mental videos of their performance in a manner that they can accelerate progress. It's a way to set the stage to mastery. And here's how it works. First, teens need to think of a couple of things. I'm talking one or two things, so keep it simple. One or two things that are very important to them in their performance for their sport or for their academics. For example, a soccer player, maybe he or she is working on their mid-range passing, so they're going to think of a mid-range passing sequence. That's one. Two, they need to have clarity on where that important sequence starts and where it stops, as well as what's in the middle. For example, back to that soccer example, for a mid-range pass, the sequence may start at stopping the ball, and then it might have to be getting balanced, winding up or getting prepared, striking the ball, and then follow through. So that might be their mid-range passing sequence. So that's the second thing. So far we've talked about figuring out one or two things that's important for their sport or for school. And the second thing is gaining clarity on exactly what is the beginning, middle, and end of that sequence. The third thing is that teens need to practice these sequences a minimum of 3 to 4 times a night. What that means is replaying these sequences in their head over and over, let's say between 5 and 10 times. What they're doing is essentially practicing further of what they're doing on the field or during their sport or whatever they're practicing for school. So it's an added benefit, and it's something added that's going to help them to get better. But here's a tip. I don't know if you've ever seen a teen who makes an error and repeats those things to themselves over and over again, or can't seem to let go of it. There needs to be a word of caution here, because sequencing can backfire. If these sequences are mistakes and they are being repeated over and over and a teen has trouble letting go of them, then teens are going to be practicing the very thing that they don't want to have happen again. So there's a couple things that are very important for sequences, and one of them is they need to be positive. Again, they need to really be positive. That's very important. That way, they're using sequencing to get better rather than to get worse. And also, sequencing needs to be vivid. What that means is teens need to include as much detail as possible. So going back to the soccer player, maybe they are kicking the ball. They need to feel how balanced they are. They need to feel how the ball feels on their foot when it hits in the correct place. They need to feel what it feels like after they do their follow through. How far is their follow through? How does their foot feel? That type of thing. The more vivid they can make the sequence, the better. In other words, the more it's going to imprint into their mind when they do something correctly, so they can replay the sequence or the movie or video for themselves later. A lot of times I get asked, well, why does sequencing and imagery work? Well, there's a couple decades of research that proves that doing imagery training along with physical practice helps accelerate progress more than just physical practice alone. And again, sequencing is the precursor to imagery training. So it's incredibly important to get this down. It's like weightlifting for the mind. In other words, it's not just psychological training, but it's tactical training and technical training as well. Again, sequencing needs to be very specific, vivid, and positive. If teens can get down sequencing and their physical practice and do these in combination and do them consistently, they'll be on their way to getting better quicker. If you found this content helpful, I encourage you to pass along or share on Facebook. Thanks so much for watching and or reading. I look forward to seeing you next time.